Hello everyone, it's Open House Thursday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Morayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies. YK in the building. How are you doing, YK? Good to see you.
How are you?
I'm very well. I'm very well.
I hope you people are coming to the show I'm hosting tomorrow.
Yeah, so we have to be
Freedom
there.
Park.
I need a break.
Yinka Davis, Fibian, Temilayo, Kayefi.
What time tomorrow?
All female. 7.
7 p.m. Okay.
And
All night?
No, you know there's curfew now.
Oh, yeah,
12
that's
midnight. So I think
midnight.
by 11, everything is
okay,
over.
Okay, we'll be there.
Cheap, 500 naira.
It's not expensive.
We'll be there.
It's not expensive.
I need to unwind.
We'll come early so that we can quickly pay and enter before it gets crowded.
Should I tell them to reserve a table for you?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Okay. I'll be definitely.
I'll ask them to reserve a table
Hi,
for you.
Nyma.
I'm fine. I wanted to do a shout out to someone's wife, a fan of ours. He's shouting out to his wife, Mrs. Omolola Tosi Oguleye. Tosi Oguleye, your husband, says he just wants to shout out to you. He didn't tell me the occasion. So
Just to say I love you.
I love you. It was our director of news birthday yesterday, Miss Stella Dean.
Yes.
Happy
sir.
birthday,
Yes,
ma.
Really?
yes,
And I like
yes.
her so much.
Yes,
she's such a sweet
yes.
person.
Happy
She's so
birthday,
nice.
SDJ.
Okay.
You should have mentioned it yesterday, but we didn't remember. I didn't
Okay.
remember at all.
She-
I have to say a special thank you because me, I have a shout out today. I have a special thank you to somebody. I will not mention this person's name, but the person gifted me yesterday with a car.
Wow.
I was shocked. The person sent a car. In fact, I thought the person wanted to loan me a car just for the period because I told the person that Tokwe's car was burnt, mine was vandalized, all the windows were down, front, back, side, so the lights and the body was damaged and it was under repairs. So the person came yesterday. I was like, don't worry, we're already finding a way to repair her car. I said, no, we've already done change of ownership already. And they got me a car yesterday to my house.
See my
Please,
mouth. God bless you.
Let me say thank
Wherever
you to
you
this
are.
person.
Thank you.
God knows you. God bless you.
But I'm going
And
to
God
I'm
sends
Wherever you are,
such to
please,
Tokwe
I'm
also.
here as well.
And
I'm going to offer the car to Tokwe for now because obviously, because right now I'm using my mother-in-law's car.
Okay.
I'm managing my mother-in-law's car. This while my car is still in the repairs, so I'll loan it. I'll talk to Tokwe if she's still in need for that. I'll give her that car at least until she's sorted. But I'll give it to Tokwe
And then
for
may
now.
God locate Tokwe's too. Any
yeah.
helper, please locate Tokwe.
I'm sure somebody will
Having it
locate
up.
Tokwe.
Yeah.
having it
So I
up.
was really grateful.
Murayo, that
I
her
was
car wasn't brought, was located.
I was located for people.
Yes, so God will favor
So,
also.
this person, you know yourself, I'm not going to mention your name, but thank you so
God
much.
bless
Thank you.
God
Well, you'll
bless
tell
you.
us later.
I'll tell you. Me, YK, did I tell you?
You will tell us.
thank you.
You will tell us this one.
Murayo, are you like that?
No, I'll tell you later. Stay with us. We'll be right
you.
back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Okay, let's start with the nation this morning. Row over panel to dispose of recovered government assets. That's the nation. Tribute as Balarabe Musa is buried. Unilag becomes VC's return. Unilag welcomes VC's return, actually. NCDC, why yellow fever is spreading. Hashtag NSAS Banire Utomi Falana, other slam federal government for dictatorship. And ASU can't claim varsity autonomy, says federal government. Lots of stories here. Which
We
one do you
just
want to
headline.
Yeah.
So, forfeited properties recovered by the EFCC are presently being. A panel was set up by the Attorney General of the Federation, Morayo, and he put together this, I think, 21-man panel to dispose of these properties. And everybody has reason to argue about it. So some people are on the side that, the EFCC Act provides clearly for, I think I can't remember the office within the AFCC who is in charge of disposing the properties. But then some people are saying it is within the office of the AGF also, as the general overseer, let me put it like that, of all the law enforcement agencies, to also dispose these properties. So they've raised the acts and the clashes and all of that. A lot of lawyers are saying now on both sides of the divide.
I was going to take the story on the NCDC. If you allow. The NCDC boss has described the outbreak of Lassa fever, not Lassa fever.
Yellow fever.
Okay, that's the one. Yeah, that's
Yellow
the one I
fever.
wanted to take.
And he described that the reason for this outbreak is failure of routine immunization. And he also blamed this on lack of adequate budgetary allocation to the health sector, inadequate investment in laboratories, facilities, and low motivations for the healthcare workers. Right, you wanted to add to that? Or
you've said it.
Yeah.
And so that the outbreak that we've been reading about in Enugu, Delta, they mentioned Enugu and Delta as well.
And even Ondo.
This meeting was in Ondo.
Right.
And that is what the outbreak is. Yellow
So
fever,
hemorrhaging fever. So Ondo has now reeled out a new immunization plan starting from those within 9 months till 44 years of age.
Yes.
So which means that if you are within that range and you can approach any primary healthcare center, help yourself.
Yeah.
No, outside Ondo self. Just help yourself.
Okay, Mike, you want to take the VC story or let's take it elsewhere.
Yeah.
Daily Sun, very quickly, more trouble for #EndSARS protesters after CBN's freezing of bank accounts. ASU others jubilate as Buhari reinstates Unilag VC, dissolves governing council. Senate rejects amnesty for terrorists, seeks trial of group's sponsors. ICC confirms receipt of criminal complaint against Falana. Strike, FG all workers talks deadlocked. Okay, which story are we taking? The major headline?
The deadlock, FG all workers. Okay. So now, when workers had given an ultimatum for 7 days and then they've embarked on a strike now, before it gets to where we are queuing for petrol, in Aba already, they are buying for 200 naira per litre. They're already queuing. So I want federal government to please look into the issues. Some of the issues are that they want to bring Pengasson staff under the IPPIS. They also have a problem with it. I know their structure has worked over the years. They're one of the most organized, groups in Nigeria, and their pensions are clear. So they have their own under the Petroleum Training Institute and the Petroleum Products Pricing Regulatory Agency template, and that has been used since 2015 and it works for them. I don't know why the federal government thinks they must come under the IPPIS. If there's a clash, let it not affect Nigerians.
The VC has been reinstated. Gundipe, Buhari had said that they didn't follow due diligence. They didn't follow the protocol, and there are these accusations. He is saying that they can bring it up, but do it the right way. But for now, he's been reinstated.
I was going to take the story concerning ICC. International Criminal Court has confirmed receipt of a file against the complaint against the Femi Falana, the lawyer. I think it was filed by Joseph Nwaegbo, a senior advocate of a group called Make Nigeria Better Initiative, and he was saying that he described his involvement in the #EndSARS protesters as not only ignoble but criminal. So that's why he has filed a report, a complaint to the International Criminal Court against Falana.
Really?
Okay,
I didn't even see
I'll
that
read
one.
it.
Let's move on now to Vanguard. #EndSARS promoters accounts. Afenifere Middlebelt Ohaneze, others blast Akere Dolu. Murder, corruption, others. Police dismiss 10 officers in Lagos. Appointment of judges, court OK suit against Buhari. Unilag, I regret signing report, says visitation panel chair as Buhari reinstates VC. We are aware of attempts to weaken North before 2023, says Northern Elders. And fish out sponsors of Boko Haram, Senate tells federal government. Okay, so I was going to take the major headline. Do you have that?
The major headline.
The governor of Ondo State has come under fire. Do you have that story? Why can you want to take it?
Yes, because he has said that it is okay for the government to freeze the accounts of the EndSARS. That it is
what he said. It was okay.
No, he said
there was nothing wrong.
That's exactly what is the difference with nothing wrong and okay. He said it's okay. He says that after they freeze the account, then they can now take the government to court to unfreeze the accounts. That he doesn't see anything wrong.
Yes. What I read from what he said is that freezing accounts is not a big deal. Even he knows people whose accounts have been frozen in the past, and what they do is go to the courts to find politicians. But I don't know how he wants regular citizens like us to freeze our accounts. That's looking for a lawyer to go to court. But people have, of course, civil society have come at him that how can he say like that it was wrong for him to speak and to make it seem as if it's okay for them to actually.
They've called him a military apologist.
I
mean, there is a lot of people have come after him.
Right. I wanted to take fish out Boko Haram sponsors. Right. So, Buratai facing the Senate panel on army, headed by Ali Ndume, was warned clearly. In fact, I love the terms that the senator used when he was talking to the army chief. That, where in the UAE, 6 Nigerians were convicted of sponsoring Boko Haram, and by the time they were getting to prosecution, the investigation had nailed them. But in Nigeria here, you're talking about forgiving and reinstating people who have killed people while their victims are still displaced and suffering. Yeah. And he also said that, there was a recent attack in somewhere in Borno there where those forgiving, those they were trying to rehabilitate into the society were the ones suspected of having carried out that attack.
No, not even. They informed the Boko Haram as to where the soldiers would be at the time.
Exactly.
And that in his village, 75 Malams, Malams are scholars, were killed. And 85, I can't remember the other 85 people. And he said, these people, their families will still be seeing the Boko Haram people walking around. That how do you come about? And they don't even have money. They are living in IDP camps. They don't have money to even move about. And then you now want to... And just to relate it to the Akere Dulu story, they are saying you are freezing the accounts of the NSAS people. This Boko Haram, have you started to freeze their accounts?
Because it's over there that they are prosecuting them for sponsoring, not here.
We have to run, but I needed to take this story because I was a bit worried about this story. Northern Elders Forum, the spokesperson was saying that the entire agitation against police brutality or bad governance was almost like an affront against the northern states. And that for me was an issue because the spokesperson Dr. Hakim Baba Ahmed was saying that also that they were using that as a way to weaken the North and make it look as though they're not interested in restructuring, and his certain interests for elections in 2023 are the ones that are orchestrating this. I find it a bit uncomfortable when everybody turns a legitimate protest against bad governance and now politicize it and say, oh, it's because of somebody's interest for 2023. That is worrisome. We should compartmentalize these issues. Yeah, Nigerians protested, yes, don't start twisting this around.
One of the people that talked about Akere Dulu also said that people in this government now protested during the last regime.
Exactly.
And nobody arrested them. Right. Nobody froze their accounts.
Yes. Even the professionals that came together, I think Pastor Itwa was part of them, a few other people, Mr. Mobolurin, a few other professionals came together and were sticking against the fact that CBN should not and could not, they shouldn't be clapping down on these citizens just because they've spoken their voice. Like they are sowing a seed. I think somebody in that group was saying that if they're sowing a seed, they won't be able to harvest what they get.
One said that they should go to the north and go and freeze accounts there.
Sorry, I wanted to take Morayo. Sorry? I don't know whether we got the non-audit of about 801 federal government agencies and foreign ministries, foreign agencies. Go ahead. The House of Reps, was querying why the Auditor General's office has not been funded for a number of years now. And they've called the finance minister, the Accountant General of the Federation, and a lot of other appointees of government to come and answer for that, saying that this is why these agencies that are supposed to be functioning are getting direct budgets for their ministries without proper audit. Okay. I think it's something we should look at.
Okay, that's all we can take on Front Page Review. It's Thursday. We don't like to do too much paperwork on Thursday. We like to gist because there's a lot happening. Domestic violence is there's a story that went viral yesterday, I think. It's something worth talking about because we need to continually remind Nigerians on how to care for themselves, especially if they're going through domestic violence. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So there's a story of a woman who went through domestic violence for 20 years. She finally left the marriage with her children, moving on with her life. The husband later located her, went ahead and killed her. Now, there have been so many stories of domestic violence. In fact, recently, another one happened, I think, in Edo State, we were talking about not so long ago. And it's almost as though that we advise women to do certain things, we advise men to do certain things, but so even when they adhere to these advices, it doesn't really work in their interest. And that's going to be our focus today. You can call us on 090-241-63440. You can tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag TVC so we can read your tweets. So the angle I'd like us to talk about, I think, is more related to the story that happened in Edo, where a woman was killed by her husband, allegedly killed by her husband. And throughout her marriage, obviously, maybe because she's been going through domestic violence, and she's been managing it in her own space. And then she's saving up money gradually, as would advise her, okay, just in case anything happens, so at least you have something saved up. So she saved up enough money, rented out an external apartment to take herself and her children to safety, to live, because now she's safe, right? The man went there to look for her in that new place and butchered her. So our question, therefore, is that what options do victims of domestic violence have, especially when it seems as though the advice of find a way to manage yourself till you can get out from this story didn't work for this woman? How do we begin to have a conversation around domestic violence? Please send your tweets in. We'd like to hear your thoughts. Let me start with Nyma. I know you talk to a lot of women in this situation, so you have a lot of...
It's very disheartening. So some of the things I've seen, in fact, very recently, is that you now have a victim suffering special threat messages and saying, what has the system availed you? What has the government done for you? What has the courts that you went to done for you? Exactly. Because the process is made so cumbersome and tedious. And I pity even the agencies. I have one I recently came across where a man domestically violated his wife and child and went ahead to pay bloggers to write damaging stories about the girl, twisting facts and twisting figures. And this poor girl, it was a, how would I call it, maturity imbalance kind of relationship. Right. So it's about over 10 years older than the wife. And he's brought the maligning and all of that within her family so that she's sort of silenced by force. When you read her story, it's painful. The only blog, and I must give credit to that blog, is Linda Ikeji, who took the side of the woman. Every of the other blog called her gold digger, all sorts of names, to think that the guy is stinkingly broke. That kind of thing. Let me put it well. You know, but he has connections, and he's using the connections even within the police, the senior cadre of police, to continue to violate his wife. So the system doesn't avail as expected, or is it the will? Because it used to be the norm under when the domestic violence DSVRT department was created under the Ministry of Justice by Raji Fashola, that people stopped and slowed down domestic violence. Even when you were caught, you didn't want to be, publicly addressed about it. Remember the banker? People wanted to hide. But now it's sort of out there. The Edo one, for instance.
Let me take this call. Mohammed, Delta from Delta State. Are you still there?
Yes, I'm with you, man.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead. You're live.
Okay.
Yes, go ahead.
Good morning.
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 Okay, I saw a topic on domestic violence.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Which they are discussing.
Yes.
So I just want to put my view. Let me express my view regarding this issue of domestic violence.
Yes, you're live. Go ahead.
Okay, in my opinion, I think we've actually run away from family value. Rather, those days in a family, no matter how rich you are, there's an elder. What I mean by elder, somebody who speaks in that family.
Mohammed, are you still there?
The woman can run to that family, to her husband's family. She knows she can talk to another person can summon her husband.
Let me take YK's initial thoughts before we
No, go on.
Go ahead.
So this couple have been married for years. Their kids are grown up, matured kids. This woman has put up with it for the sake of the children enough. So after over 20 years of domestic violence and abuses, she thought, let me buy my freedom, and leaves the house. And according to the first son, because that part of his account was taken in my, it happened in my village, was taken in my dialect. He was saying that the mom was saying, I need to run away from your dad before I die like this. Let me go and find a way to. So she must have taken her years to save and get the resolve to move. She finally moved, and he came and said, and killed her, stabbed her several times till she died. In such account, you hear men say to women, I own you and everything that you are. It's either with me or you are dead. And this is not about mental abuse. It's cultural. It's where a man pays bride price, and he thinks that dead or alive, I own your body, I kill you, no consequence, that kind of thing. So we really need to have...
As I said, our conversation like us, what else can women do in this kind of situation?
That is the real question. Because the only thing she can do, apart from, because is it possible to get police protection? It's not 24 hours. It's not really possible.
How quick will you get it?
So the only thing I would advise women in such situations is to try and move far away and tell as a limited number of people. Just your immediate family will know where you are, so that the man cannot find you until his head has calmed down. Because can you remember that one in was it America, where the Ghanaian one, the pastor, you know, she had left.
Yeah.
He went to her office and he killed her.
Right.
You know, and he already said, I will kill you. Wherever, you know, so.
I don't know. Let me take this call right here and I'll come back to you. Olabode, are you there? Thanks for calling.
Yes, I'm still here. Good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Okay, so there's just something I think you need to realize. I think there's always something that leads to most men becoming very aggressive and violent. So let's imagine we have a perfect system where there's serious consequences for beating up your wife or for doing stuff, and then all perpetrators are going to jail. It still doesn't stop the fact that there are some cases where some women actually trigger some weak men to becoming very, very aggressive. Even though the system is perfect and works well to actually jail or deal with these men, what about the women that are actually triggering some men that by default they're not necessarily aggressive, but there's some things they say, there's some characters they exhibit that make men actually become very aggressive? Because this case of this woman dying after she has left the house, I'm sure there was some conversation that was going on between the two of them that actually made this man becoming extremely furious and very dangerous, and then went ahead to kill her. So I think we should also talk about that as well.
Thank you very much for that angle.
Please, so let me remove myself from this comment that Olabode just made quickly. Anger is a destructive emotion. Everybody must be able to check that emotion. So let me use this of the Prophet Islam, that when you're angry standing, please sit down. When you're sitting, please lie down, so that you take away power. It is an emotion you must find a way to put in check. So there's nothing triggering anger enough to stab and murder somebody. This is premeditated murder. You took knife, put it in your back pocket, walk distance to where somebody rented the house, and stabbed the mother of your children several times. Nothing can trigger it. Nothing. This woman ran for her life.
Scoring.
So, no, something can trigger slap. You people are fighting your house, your head, your mother, your 10 fingers, and all of that can trigger. But don't bring it.
Self-defense is not premeditated. Self-defense,
yeah, the woman did not stab him now. They were not fighting knife to knife.
But I don't understand. For someone to go to somebody's house to go and kill them, something has to be wrong with the brain.
Let me paint the situation, because I'm
not justifying this in any way. I'm saying that the person cannot be normal. It is not the act of a normal human being.
Let me paint this picture for you, because imagine a man who has given his entire all to this marriage, for example. I'm talking about the triggering. Let's be realistic. You are saying that nothing can trigger. I agree with you. But let's also look at other options. A man who has given everything, you've worked hard, maybe, and your wife, who you've given everything to, still for whatever reason cheats on you, just for something, and you then find out, and you're so broken, you don't even know what to do or where to start from. At that moment, the easiest thing for you to do is leave. But when she's even doing that, is rubbing it in your face. Sometimes these things build up to a level. Now, just like you said, the person can be mentally disturbed. That is emotionally disturbed. You don't know now. You think the person is okay because they don't write it on your paper and mentally disturbed. You don't know. But gradually, and it builds up. And because I know somebody, I've shared this story several times on the show, where somebody called my husband at 2 a.m. that your friend has a knife to my head. Come and get her. My husband was leaving the house. He went from our house in 2004. He went into Kikoyi to go and stop his friend at the time. So it's not as if she planned, it wasn't premeditated. These things are not planned. Okay, but there's something that builds up that triggers it.
That's one. But you walk into
crime
of passion, you walk into somebody abusing your wife, your wife abusing your marital vows.
Yes.
You know, that's a different arrangement.
Okay.
That's separate.
Okay.
Not that you hear, you know, or the thing has passed, you are now cooking it up. When the provocation has completely expired, you're now cooking it up, planning it, or you are, you know, the one, like the one in that my village that happened. You know, the man has suspicion. Your wife looks nice. She says hi to somebody. You have mental condition. Okay. Go and find counseling.
Okay, let me take this call. Let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation and take more calls. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we are still on this issue of domestic violence, and we're saying, can anybody be provoked? Because based on a lot of these comments, there are times where somebody doesn't plan to kill or to abuse, but there's a part of provocation. Nyma was saying nothing can provoke you, and I like us to kill somebody. That there's no provocation that can do that. And we're saying, let's not see from different parts.
You see, I don't want to justify killing in any way, because to me, killing is... I don't even believe in hitting a person.
Right.
I can't get angry to that point. I will check myself, you know. But in France, for instance, there is crime of passion, where you come and meet your wife or your husband cheating, and then you just get angry and you kill or something. It's still not justifiable, but
you won't get the ultimate.
You will not get.
That's the ultimate. In Nigeria,
you get something.
No, in France, I think it absolves completely.
You go free.
But in Nigeria, you get manslaughter.
In Nigeria, you will not go free. We don't have that law here. If you know that you are in a relationship and you are cheating, please take a bow. Go. Don't stay. I cannot defend it. I cannot defend it. It is the domestic where the woman is not doing anything. She's loyal to you, then you just be beating her because your head is not correct.
There's a way we used to react to domestic violence.
It's different.
To cheating in Nigeria.
It's different.
When a man catches his wife cheating in Nigeria, in our own Nigeria, when I was growing up, pack your load. As if people did not work for the money together. And get out of my house. So the woman will start shouting, they're sending me, me and my children, who will help me? That's how we react here. Nobody used to kill anybody. I didn't grow up seeing it. But the way we read it in the papers these days, and nobody talks about pack your load and go to your father's house. Hey, family, come and carry your daughter. He's just shooking. Please. Don't shoot.
So we said I want to go back to, please go back
to at least return to sender. If the factory is default, return to factory setting. Send back to the parents. They've not finished training. Don't stab him. Imagine that one that stabbed his wife.
Grace.
After the children are grown.
Grace, are you there? She's been holding for a while. Are you there? Thanks for calling.
Yes, I'm here.
You're live. Go ahead. Morning.
Yes. Please, I want to contribute to the topic.
Go ahead, please.
Yes, I once had an experience of domestic violence. Like, I was still dating this person. We never had any argument or any issue. He has a spare key to my house. Usually come to my house like weekend. He got home like 12 o'clock that night and said he needed to speak with me. We told him 12. I need to work as early as 5 a.m. next. So let's leave it till weekend. Before you know it, he started beating me. Like serious beating. We never had any arguments, nothing. He seized my key, my car key, locked the door off my phone, so I could not call anybody. You know, initially I was dragging with him, but when he started making statements like, if I kill you, nobody will know I'm responsible for it, I had to calm down. Then the next morning, I was able to beg him, like, please, can you give me my car key so that I can go to work? I left the house that day and I never came back.
God bless you.
In fact, I had to go and look for another accommodation.
Was that the first?
It was a lot.
Was that the very first time he hit you? Was that the very first time he hit you?
First time. I've never seen him that way in my entire life. You know, the point now is after the whole thing, you know, the family got involved, my family, and he denied everything. In fact, he went to the extent of cutting himself, claiming I was the one that cut him. You know, so what I advise people is, don't even use, I will slap you to joke with me in a relationship.
Yes.
Don't even use it.
Grace, YK asked, do you have children for him?
No, we're just courting.
Oh, you were courting at the time?
Yes. We'd already bought everything for our wedding and all that, so I just had to let go. Because I cannot stand it. So what I advise ladies, once you see that sign, there's no point. Right. Before one man will come and kill you, that man will marry somebody else.
Yes, totally. Thank you very much, Grace, for sharing your story.
I really like what she said. Yes. Because me, if you just give me one slap,
yeah, you survived the one slap.
I may not, I will give you personal experience. I've never spoken about it on the show, but let me say it today. When I was married, a few months into it, I was pregnant, and then my ex-husband slapped me. And I was like, what? You slapped me? No, I didn't leave. I went to the kitchen very calmly, got knife, and I put the knife beside her. Okay, the next time you try it, you will die. Don't ever slap me. And till I left that house, I slept with that knife beside my bed. Now, I was 27, 28. I would not advise anybody to do that. Don't do that. Get out. Because if he had come and I had used it, his mother, I will be liable. I'll be in Kirikiri now. Yeah.
Let me take
shouting,
this cup on Chijoke.
Oh, your view, can I talk my own? I'll be saying, your view.
So, let me take this cup on Chijoke. Good morning, are you there? Thanks for calling.
Hello, good morning, ladies. This is Bode from Niger State.
Go ahead, please. You're live.
Okay, on the issue, or when Bode called, Morayo was trying to buttress his point.
Yes.
I think there's no reason justifiable ever for a man or a woman or anybody to raise their hand at somebody because you are provoked. How many times have you been provoked on the street and you went to fight your fellow man? So this was fine, okay, he was provoked and he decided to hit his wife. That's lame, sorry. But that's actually it doesn't make sense because you go out every day, people annoy you, people step on your toes, people step on your shoe, splash you water, you don't go about fighting. Yeah. So your wife provokes you, somebody you claim you love, you saw this lady, you approached her, you toasted her, you told her heaven and earth, I love you, I will die for you and everything, you got her gift, then next day she said something, and you decide, okay, next to raise your hands on her because you feel the idea of, oh, she's mine, I own her, I paid for her. Hello, nobody can buy anybody. Your money cannot even buy her food. Yeah. So you saying that because she said something, she provoked you. Okay, look at it the other way around. Men are guilty of cheating a lot. I'm a guy, and I'll tell you the truth. Men really cheat and bring babies to the house. How many times have their wives killed them? I'm not saying that a woman killed her husband for bringing another child out, maybe after 10 years or 20 years of life. Like, okay, I have a son, he's 18 now. Okay, and the child was got when we are married. Have you had how many times of those women say, okay, oh, they killed their husband, he said on them, and these women take a lot. Right.
Thank you so much, Chijoke. Thank you very much. And I like what he said, because if a soldier provokes you outside, if a soldier provokes you.
No, you just ask him, can you do 5 fingers in front of a barracks? I wanted to build a one-white case. Yes. So, in systems that work, when you get a slap like one case described now, you walk straight to that system and avail yourself of that protection. But in Nigeria, you go to the police. I had a client whose husband bought the entire police station in Lekki. Every time she's reporting domestic violence, they will say, Madam, write statement. While she's writing statement for 3 hours, they will say they are busy. It's her husband that will come and carry her. And he'll still tell her that if I get home before you, you will sleep outside.
Imagine that.
She put up OT for more than 10 years. Because if she gets home, she wants to be with her children.
That reminds me of a story. Let me go on the break. When we come back, I would like to continue because there's a story I learned about a few years back. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're still talking about domestic violence. And I mean, it's important for us to also share what are the signs for us to be looking at. For you to know, it's time for me to go. I cannot stay here. Because some people won't slap, they say, okay, maybe I can still manage, until he starts to pound you. That's when they begin to move. But when does a woman know that it's time for her to move?
Well, I think it varies. You see, my own, when he slapped me, I didn't leave. I just threatened, and then he didn't slap me again. But the day I finally decided that, just carry your bag and baggage, I was sleeping. And now the way I sleep with my eyes don't close fully. Okay. So if I wake up, I just become aware, but you don't know if you are watching me. So when I woke up, I saw him, he was doing like this. Over me.
Yeah? He was standing over you.
He was standing over me.
Looking at...
You see the eye?
He thought you were sleeping.
He thought I was sleeping. I just continued to sleep back. It's one bag, small bag, that my baby's carrier bag, that thing's inside. And I just... When he went to work in the morning.
Hasta la vista.
I can't take beating. That's the truth.
Let me take this
And because the kind of woman I am, I can talk. You want to have you tell
So you're the type that he'll talk 1, you talk 100.
I will talk 100, I'll talk 150.
Let me take this call from, I don't have the name, but John, I believe. Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
My name is Mr. John Mwamiri from Kaduna.
Go ahead, please.
All right. I agree with all that has been said, justification. But I think the reason why a lot of people go to physical violence is because we seem not to have any support for emotional crisis in marriages. You know, for instance, when a man is going through emotional challenges in his marriages, people seem not to understand when he's coming out to say, you know what, I'm going through some certain psychological problem, emotional problem. So it's like the only time people tend to know that there is a crisis in the marriage is when there is physical violence. And so if we can get a support system where we take people's complaints serious, when a man, especially for men, women can complain easily. But for a man to come out and say, you know what, I'm going through an emotional pain, I'm going through a psychological pain, people always wave it with, you know, one kind of nonchalantness. And then the man will feel that the only way people will listen to me and people will react to my issue is when I become physically violent. I think if we work on that, people will tend to know that,
John.
You know, I can get solution without going violent.
Thank you, John. I think that's a very valid point, because the truth is that a lot of our men don't tell us when they are in pain. We know they're having issues at work. We know they're having issues with family obligations, issues even within the home. And they bottle up so much in. And if they need to seek help, they wouldn't.
And because a lot of it stems from the bringing up. Because men, when they cry as babies, they say, don't cry, you're a man, Joe. So men are brought up not to cry, but bottle up all your emotions. It's not right. Let your child cry. If it's a child, boy or girl, let them cry. Yeah. Because that is why the men now bottle up their emotions, and then it comes out in...
you must validate.
Andrew in StarTimes says, a friend of mine, when he got married, bought a punching bag. And when asked why he bought it, he said, if my wife angers me to be almost violent, I let it out on the bag. His wife categorically says he has never laid hands on her ever. Very happily married.
Let me take this call from Bielsa. Praise, are you there while we take some tweets? Are you there, Praise?
Yes.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please. You're live.
Okay. Hello?
Please, go ahead. Speak to me, not the telephone. Please, speak to me. Go ahead.
Yes, I want to contribute a little way to this topic.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
I don't think Nigerians...
You are listening to the television. Listen to me, please.
Nigerians understand the word marriage.
Okay.
Because when you marry a wife, marriage... Are you with me?
We've been with you since, sir. Okay, we have to disconnect that call. Please, when you call in, listen to me, not the television, because TV is just a few seconds delayed, so you'll be confused. You're going to say, let's take a few tweets,
I wanted to build on what YK said. So this conversation of letting boys cry. So my boy likes to talk, and then, you know, he talks with a funny sound. And the dad will keep saying to him, hey, boy, man up. I will just go behind and call him, why are you crying? Say, because you asked me to kneel down. So I've learned to listen. I talk to him, and the guy can talk. He has stories. He has description of everything. The father still doesn't get it. We'll see how they talk about it. Parents now should be the ones to try to make their children open up to these conversations. So maybe their generation, they didn't have anybody to tell their weaknesses. But we, maybe mothers now, your boys, listen to them. Ask them, you know, those kind of things that they would be afraid to tell or open up. Listen to it and help them find a way through it. So that when they become adults, they will know that it's okay to talk about it. Which one is a man going through emotions and there's no place to go to? Talk to your friends.
A man is very close to his mom, and the mom dies, and he doesn't cry. Guess what? He has bottled all that pain inside of him.
On his wife.
And it's going to come out, whatever way it comes out.
I want to take this call, but I want us to talk about domestic violence in wealth and opulence. There's some people that are very rich, satisfied and comfortable, but the only issue in their marriage is the fact that the spouse is beating them up. Let me take this call. Esther, are you there? Thanks for calling.
Yeah.
Go ahead, you're live.
Okay. On the domestic violence.
Yes.
I'm a first caller from Ekiti.
Welcome to the stage, to the show.
Yeah. Okay. So on domestic violence, I noticed this is common in almost in houses now, because a lot of this youth, getting married, and the things are being done by maybe the wife must have done something wrong. But actually, I used to tell my man that there's nothing a woman can do to you. You have to be patient. The least he can do is to leave the house. But I also hear people going to maybe police station to report, and nothing has been done. Yeah. And I want to appreciate feeders now. Feeders are really doing well now about this domestic violence. If the government can help them, support them, I think things can improve.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much, Esther. I was talking about. I think I wasn't clear either. Wealth. You have money. Your husband is rich. You have Rolls Royce. He travels to different parts of the world. You can have breakfast in London and dinner in Spain. You know, and your kids are in the best schools in the world. And the only thing is that when this one comes around, he's drunk and he beats you up. And you're not thinking to yourself. You tell everybody around you, then they tell you, what's your problem? At least you have all this. What are you complaining about? Nobody, you don't have that family support. But they're constantly judging you. What's your problem? I beg, must you manage now? You have all this. So family is not supporting you. Friends are envious of you. They're thinking, you have this and you're still complaining. So you're in a small bubble. You feel like you're alone. I mean, this is a story somebody told me about a couple of years ago. A woman, she's alone in this world. Everybody expects her to be happy just because she's she's rich. But she's undergoing domestic violence. In that kind of situation, what does she do?
Leave. Don't explain.
The thing where she go chop, now you go kill him. That's her matter. That kind of woman, if she stays, what she's going to chop is going to kill her.
She might suffer emotional violence and not die, but she's damaged. Because it's over the years, YK, it's growing like something planted and being given water every day. She will eventually either be bitter. In fact, if she grows, her psychology and she's whole, she's still whole. It's because maybe she used the money to still help herself psychologically to see a shrink or find a counselor, someone to talk to regularly.
A shrink would tell her to leave.
Some of them might give you what they call family goal, and then you're pushing it alone maybe for the sake of your children.
If a man beats you and then you develop cancer, because all your injuries.
Let me take this call from Baba. Good morning, Uju. Are you there? Ugochukwu, are you there? Oh, so sorry, we lost that call. No, but in that kind of situation, people don't help them. Why? That's my question. Why don't we help people that we think
that's
that are
That's why I said don't explain. So because you have to answer to a lot of people. Maybe if eventually in life you find that one same person who's wise enough to say, this thing cannot be ordinary, that you did it. You can then open up. But till then, just save enough and just say, please, I just want to be alone.
You know, that's why I don't believe in, if you're having problems in your marriage, I don't believe in discussing it with anybody. That's me. Maybe an independent person, a marriage counselor or something. But a friend or your family, I don't. I do not. I take the decision I'm going to take.
But there's some good friends, YK, that can actually support you.
No matter how good you are, nobody knows my pain. Nobody knows your pain. Only you will know your pain. Only you know. Look, when your shoe is pinching you, it's only you that will know where that shoe is pinching you. Nobody else will help you. Even if they see you limping, they will say, sorry, but they don't know the pain that you are feeling. So, I personally may not be the right decision. Don't take advice from people. I do what I want to do.
I know someone that I have serious respect for now. She divorced. Nobody knew why. So, just like YK said, know who you are talking to. She confided in someone that, we had a terrible sex life in that marriage. In fact, it was next to nothing. The few times we had it was worse. I just didn't want to live in a marriage and commit adultery. And the person just came and you spread the word that, can you imagine this ordinary sex that she left her marriage for?
But is that a worthy reason? Let me take this call. Caller, are you there? Thanks for calling. Oh, so let's go to the issue of other room. Is that a worthy reason to say you're done?
Yes, Obiajulu will tell you straight away. Bam, 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 bam.
Leave Obiajulu. Apologies not here today. Please leave her. But is that a reason? Is that a reason to leave a marriage?
Oh, gosh. Obiajulu, please call me if you are listening.
It's what is important to you that you hold. So if whatever the problem is, like
many of our mothers didn't do the other room. In fact, they left after they gave birth. The other room they locked it down.
No, they were raised not to worry about other rooms.
So
it's your generation that became internet, whatever compliant and otherwise.
Listen. we can wear on this new persona. But the truth is that there are people who have lived without the other room activities and they have survived. So when we make it look as if without other room, we cannot survive a marriage, that might be wrong.
Maybe you don't what is important to you is not important to me. What is important to Obi like YK it cannot be important to YK. So whatever is important to you in the life is what you own. When I did Islamic family law and we were looking for grounds for divorce, we were studying grounds for divorce, and money was an issue. Valid ground. So maybe you are from a wealthy, Dangote's daughter, and you have mistakenly married for love, but the suffer is more than you. Don't cheat on your husband, and don't it's ground. Leave the marriage and go. If sex is an issue, don't cheat. Don't defile the sanctity of family, and and come out for there. Go start afresh. So there are several grounds. Whatever is important to you in life is what you owe, and go.
Let me take Ayo. Ayo, are you there? Thanks for calling. Let's take a few tweets, guys. Let's get about 5 tweets each. Ayo, thanks for calling. Are you there?
Tweets.
And good morning. Thanks for doing this great job.
Thank you, Ayo.
I want us to tell ourselves that it does not worth taking anybody's life because you are disappointed by your wife or your husband.
Yes.
So let every man or woman have it behind their mind. There is no marriage that is worth dying for. If this one is not going to be compatible, make it work and go to the other place.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Ayo. I know a woman who has been divorced 4 times. She's on her 5th husband. And she said, listen, I am not going to stay once because it's not a do or die affair.
Yes.
If somebody is not working, I will move to the next person. And I think that's what I is saying, that let's not make marriage be as if you're not married, you're not worthy as a person. You're an individual before marriage.
It's also good to invest in it, to work at it.
So where do we draw the line? Because this new generation of Sorosuke people, their own is, I'm not happy, I get the heck out.
No, that I'm not happy, I'll get the haircut has been since before my mother's time. We know women from my mother's age that that did not stay to be working at anybody. Your mother did not raise you finish, I'll come and be raising you as your wife. I heard it from aunties that are grandmothers now. So if your husband never done finish from normal house, you can walk away. But it's also very important. I had a divorce offer recently. I told the person, please go to counseling. And I'm happy that I took that decision. Because it's not everything that
let's go on a break. We're going to take a few tweets when we come back.
I was going to
come back, we'll discuss about this issue of working at it. What does it mean? Let's try to define it. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we have loads and loads of tweets. So Wyke, you want to start?
Yes, the Andrew says domestic violence starts from dating or courting. So it's better to detect it and work out immediately. Don't let it get to marriage before you make the right decision. Ogumola Emmanuel, some women are obanje and will provoke you to a level of violence. If you are unfortunate to marry a Karashika, you will get into trouble of domestic violence. Women actually abuse a system they know sides with them. If you can't take it anymore, please leave jejely. Wahala day for who no marry right to. Samuel Omole, traditionally in Africa, the woman has no right to live a relationship, even with an obsessive and abusive man, because of our dogmatic belief, forgetting that domestic violence becomes an obsession and leads to killing. Should I take one more?
Yes,
this one. Okay. Anybody says, psychologically, there are things that trigger people to kill domestic issue aside. See what an ex-war personnel go through. It messes up their reality. C.J. Busari says, divorce is discouraged, but solution to some issues when the concept of for better, for worse failed before matters degenerate to something else.
All right, let me take Tokwe. Tokwe, are you there from Badagry?
Yeah, good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please, Tokwe.
Yeah, I'm glad to have reached it today.
Yeah.
Yeah, concerning the topic, please, I want to explain it better this week, because I would say it's not just about you getting angry or killing somebody. Like, I'm speaking from my personal experience.
Right.
Now. At times, these things are emotional. When I had issues with my marriage, my husband was never physical. There was a point he got so aggressive and was like furious, was like coming towards me. Immediately, I just knew that I just had to support him. I think that was the only time he ever just made that attempt. but it's not like he moved closer, but he just showed his seriousness. But what am I really saying now? The thing now is that I'm talking about my own personal experience now.
Right.
I learned that I got into depression. Not even, I don't know what was my husband. I got into depression. And why did I get into depression? It was hurting me. Not that it was hurting me.
Physically, emotionally.
Family were against me. They were able to want to instigate me against me. So everything they say, instead of him to either face it or find a solution, he passes his aggression on me. I didn't know who else to go to. When I went to my family, unfortunately, my family is a family that they will tell you if you fight outside, you are the one that will have to blame. You are the one who are right. So the only support system I had was my family, my parents, and my siblings. Instead of them sit down and listen to me and either find a way of counseling me or putting me to rest, you were all still, you are stubborn. At times, you are this. He's taking care of you. We know your husband. He's a nice person. I never said he's not a nice person. But we are having these issues. Can we just face the issues? If I tell you I was left alone, at that period I was even pregnant. I already had a child. At that early pregnancy, I was depressed. Nobody to turn to, nobody I could listen to. But on the other hand, because people knew him as a kind of quiet type, but they did not realize that when he's not addressed to people outside, I'm the only person that he knows how to push his aggressiveness.
Thank you so much, Tokwe. Because that's an interesting angle. But there are those men that look so nice outside. They're the perfect gentlemen, and they come into the house and it's a whole different thing. See, I want to also address the issue of working at, because going with Tokwe's example, you know, your family will say, work at it. Are you the first? Many mothers will tell you that even your father slapped me, I didn't walk away. It's not just a slap. So my question therefore is that what's the difference? What's the difference between a man or your father hitting your mother who stayed in a marriage, and your own husband hitting you and you refusing to stay? I mean, what happened? Is it that we're eating from a different vine or what?
Someone tried to justify domestic violence once and told me that it's a lie when my mother said she had never been slapped in her marriage, that I should ask her when she's lying. It's not possible. I said, well, me, I grew up in that house and it's possible, so I will not take it. People think it's not a deal breaker for some. We should address families. It's a major deal breaker that someone can actually, you know, because marriage is for two mature adults. That's why I always say it. Right. So I voluntarily, Morayo is toasting me, she looks okay. I think I can start a life with her. Nyma is okay. Shebi, they did not drag me with horse to the house. I came with my 2 legs. I carry bag, you know, I pack. We even do where I bought some things and we came. We came together. So in that marriage, see me as a whole human being. Yes. That you are called dignity. If your boss was a woman in the office and she would be able to talk to you and nothing happens, your partner should be allowed to talk. That disadvantaged position where a woman is not allowed certain will or power to defend herself should not be allowed. I say disadvantage in the sense that some men, the table is like this. You have no say, no right, nothing. Your family too have no say, no right, nothing. I know a family whose father used to say, as poor as I am, I will go carry my pikin, make come drink garri, I no go bury him. You know, just such, you know, it's very important that people have such.
But you see, Nyma, I hear you and you're very correct, but there's an angle that women lack respect for their husbands. Because they will tell you, like, the only thing a man is requiring in his entire life, nothing else but respect. And many women find it difficult to submit to that. That, you see, because you will say one, he will say one. Someone like YK says, he will say 150. That to a man is disrespectful. And that's what causes this. I'm just telling you the very angles are there.
So the issue... You say 200.
No, it's if we're having a fight. Yes. I'm going to say my mind now. I'm not going to keep quiet.
Yeah, it's your advantage now. You have bargaining power.
Let me tell you.
If they don't slap you so every time, you go say,
Let me take Rosemary. Rosemary from Abuja, I believe. Thanks for calling. Are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Okay. I want to make my point.
Please, go ahead.
What I'm saying is that I was in a relationship. Then the man was so aggressive to the extent that he said he would kill me and nobody would know. Hello, can you hear me?
Very clearly.
Very well.
Okay. So he said he will kill me, nobody will know. At a point in time, he kicked me, he said he will even carry hand of mortar to kick me. It was a very terrible experience. I was depressed, I was shaking. I told my brother that I beg, help me. Or this guy said he will kill me, he will hit me with a car. That his car, if he's driving, he see me, he will cripple me so that no man.
Rosemary, let me pause you for a second, please. What did you do? Rosemary, I want us to use you.
Because the man, what that other caller said, the man was so quiet. If you see him, you will never believe he would do that.
Rosemary,
his own part, ma.
Can you hear me? I'd like us to go further with you a bit. What caused, I mean, when you married him, obviously he was not like that in the beginning. How did it deteriorate?
I later didn't marry him. He was married.
It was a courtship.
Yes, but I'm married now.
Okay.
So I noticed that of him, I ran away. I'm married now for 3 years, and by the grace of God, my mother mentioned, because she had that issue, so she said one thing to my husband. She said, never hit my daughter. That is the only place we have problems.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Rosemary. That's a good point.
You're even married to a man who respects your mother. So if your mother says, don't beat my daughter, I will respect it. Some people, in front of your parents, they'll be punching you.
I need to read this tweet. Adele Abayomi. He says, okay, I got a girl pregnant when I was in school, and I was forced to marry her. My mom told me that she would be a good wife, but that never happened. 3 years into the marriage, I told them I am tired of the marriage because I see no value in her, but they never listened. We fight, I beat her, she threatened me with knife, but the family is still forcing us together. My point is that the family don't help in case of domestic violence. I pray we don't get to a stage where a life will be lost. Now, this guy is crying. This is a man.
No, he's not crying for help. This man is not being a man. She just said it right now. A marriage is two adults. Two mature adults. You get out.
He wants to get out.
Family bawo.
He's saying that the family are telling him no.
That's the point I'm trying to make. Family has no business in this conversation. Exactly. If you want to leave, you leave.
That's why.
So you're telling me
Morayo,
family doesn't want to allow me? Then for me, you're not a man.
That is why I said I don't believe in discussing my affairs with anybody, because you might not give me the advice that I want to hear. So it's better I take the decision, then you come and advise me later when I've taken the decision. This guy is saying, I want to leave. I want to leave. And everybody say, maybe he has even left. And they say, no, go back to your wife.
Listen,
let me quickly put this example. So I have a client whose wife is this was she had bullets, not sword, in her mouth. She throw you one, bomb your head. So he decided to leave. He was man enough to rent her an apartment. She was saying, no, you cannot rent me a self-contained when we used to live in a big house. He rented the house for her, took the children to her and said, the older ones, let me keep, the baby you keep. But I can't live with you like this. This is a man who knows his responsibilities. And when I said to him, are you trying to dodge the responsibility of the baby? He said, no, ma. If she doesn't want the baby, so she can go and remarry. I want all my children with me. I will get them a nanny. But this woman, she will either kill me or I'll kill her. You know? So be man enough. Don't run from your responsibility. So when your parents that you are not trying to dodge.
Advice to this guy is get out.
Get out. Don't dodge your responsibilities. Take care of your children.
That's all we can take on the show. I hope you learned a few things as we have. Have a fabulous day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.